Picture yourself standing on a savanna in East Africa, about 300,000 years ago. The air is warm, the grass sways, and in the distance, a small group of creatures hunches over the carcass of a dead animal, using sharpened stones to slice through the hide. They don't look like us, not entirely. Their brows are heavy, their faces project forward, but watch them closely. They're communicating with sounds and gestures, they're sharing food, they're planning. They are the first humans, and their descendants will one day walk on the moon. For most of our existence, this is what life looked like. Small, nomadic bands, constantly moving, constantly searching. To understand how we got from there to skyscrapers and smartphones, we have to go back to the beginning. The story of early humans isn't a straight line. It's a braided stream of different species, different experiments in being human, all branching out from Africa. There was Homo erectus, the endurance runner who spread across Asia. There were the Neanderthals, stocky and powerful, thriving in Ice Age Europe. And there was us, Homo sapiens, the newcomers. For a long time, these worlds overlapped. For tens of thousands of years, you could have walked through parts of Europe or Asia and encountered not one, but two different kinds of human. They traded, they competed, they even interbred. You probably have a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA in you right now, a genetic echo of those ancient encounters. So what set us apart? It wasn't just our brains. Neanderthal brains were just as large. The difference was how we used them. Sometime around 70,000 years ago, something shifted in the way Homo sapiens thought and communicated. Archaeologists call it the Great Leap Forward. We started creating symbolic art, carving figurines, painting breathtaking murals on cave walls. We developed complex language, not just to warn of danger, but to share stories, gossip, and beliefs. This ability to cooperate in massive numbers, to believe in shared myths like gods, spirits, and tribes, allowed us to form larger, more cohesive groups than any other human species. Life as a hunter-gatherer wasn't nasty or brutish. In many ways, it was rich. People worked fewer hours than a modern office worker. Their diet was varied. They moved with the seasons, following herds and ripening plants. Every rock, every tree, every star had a name and a story. The world was small, intimate, and known. But around 12,000 years ago, the climate changed. The last ice age ended, the planet warmed. And in a handful of places, the Fertile Crescent of the Middle East, the highlands of New Guinea, parts of China, humans made a radical choice. Instead of following the food, they decided to grow it. They planted the seeds of wild wheat and barley. They domesticated goats and sheep. It was the agricultural revolution, and it changed everything. At first, it seemed like a great idea. Farming could support more people. Villages grew into towns. Towns like Jericho and Çatalhöyük became bustling centers with hundreds, even thousands, of residents. But agriculture came with hidden costs. Skeletons from early farming villages show a dramatic decline in health. Farmers were shorter than hunter-gatherers. Their teeth rotted from a diet heavy in grain. Diseases spread rapidly in crowded, unsanitary settlements. Working the fields from sunrise to sunset was far more grueling than a day of hunting and gathering. So why did they stick with it? Because farming had one irresistible advantage: surplus. A hunter-gatherer band lives hand-to-mouth. A farming village can produce extra grain, extra food that can be stored for the winter, or traded, or taken. This surplus changed human society forever. For the first time, not everyone had to spend their days finding food. Some people could become potters, weaving baskets, others could become priests, tending shrines to the gods, and some could become chiefs, organizing labor, and crucially, controlling the stored grain. Hierarchy was born. For the first time, you had rich and poor, rulers and ruled. With surplus came the need to record it. Around 5,000 years ago in Sumer, a region in modern-day Iraq, someone invented a system of small clay tokens to count sheep and bushels of barley. Over centuries, those impressions evolved into the first written language. Cuneiform history, in the sense of a written record, had begun. With writing came law, contracts, and epic poems like Gilgamesh. With agriculture came the first cities, Uruk and Ur, with their massive ziggurats reaching toward the sky. Trade routes snaked across deserts and mountains, carrying obsidian, lapis lazuli, and ideas. Villages became city-states. City-states became kingdoms. Kingdoms clashed and merged into the first empires. In just a few thousand years, a blink in evolutionary time, humans had gone from small bands of foragers to building pyramids and calculating the movements of planets. The river valleys of the Nile, the Indus, and the Yellow River became cradles of civilization, each developing its own gods, its own writing, its own way of organizing millions of people. And yet, something was lost. The intimate world of the hunter-gatherer, where everyone knew everyone, where the spiritual was woven into every rock and stream, gave way to the vast anonymous machinery of the state. The farmer paid taxes to a king he never met, praying to a temple god for rain he once simply followed. The story of early humans is our story. It's the story of how a vulnerable ape, armed only with curiosity and the ability to cooperate, came to dominate the planet. We carry that journey inside us. Your brain still runs on the software of a hunter-gatherer, craving fatty foods and small group gossip, even as you scroll through a global network of information. The 10,000 years since the agricultural revolution are a flash in the pan of our long history. We built civilizations, but we started as wanderers. And maybe, somewhere deep down, we always will be.